Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Sean here. In this video, I'm going to go over the best Kindle publishing niches in 2021. So if you're new to the channel, I talk about self-publishing books on Amazon, building passive income, and also retiring early. So if you're interested in topics like that, please make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And if you want to learn how to self-publish books on Amazon and make money, I do have a free step-by-step publishing course. You can check it out along with all of the tools and resources that I recommend, all in the video description below. So in case you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, I've been self-publishing for close to 5 years. And I just wanted to pull up my royalties for the month of May, just to kind of give you an idea that I'm not going to just talk about what I'm about to talk about in this video on like what niches are best to go into just from theory, or just I'm not just making this up. These are all my personal experience of me personally trying out all of these niches, and also what I've seen over 5 years of doing this. So I'm just going to share what I feel is accurate information. Other people might have different experiences for these niches, but this is my experience and this is what I've seen. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so we are in the PowerPoint slide. So best KDP niches in 2021 to make over $10,000 per month. So again, just a disclaimer, this is coming from my personal experience of 5 years of publishing. I personally tried all of these niches and this is what I found out. And I cannot tell you what is best because every single niche has potential to make money, make 10K a month or much, much more. It all depends on the execution and how well your books are and everything else that you do. But so I can't tell you, what's best because that's up to you. But I can lay out the pros and cons for what I've seen because each niche offers each specific pros and cons, which I think is very interesting. I think it's insightful for you to take a look. So that's what I want to share in this video. Another thing to keep in mind is this is just for nonfiction niches because that is what I do. I do not publish fiction books, so I can't really comment on that. So let's get started with health and fitness. So health and fitness is a huge niche. Mostly it's evergreen topics, meaning it's not a seasonal topic, right? There are some trendy topics as well that comes and goes, like keto diet, intermittent fasting, those kind of things. But it's mostly evergreen, meaning it's a consistent sale that you can expect from it. Their Q4, meaning quarter four between October, November, December, is huge. So the sales usually spike during that time. Also January, because if you think about it, New Year's is when people make their resolution to lose weight. So sales explodes during that time. And there are many products and courses that you can promote in the backend. And when I say backend, it's usually collecting people's information, which is usually their emails, through your books by offering a lead magnet, which is a free book that you include in your paid book, right? And people sign up to your email list or email newsletter. And from there, you can promote other products besides your books. So that is kind of how you can make more money from the same customer. And that is what you want to do as you keep building your brand and keep building your publishing business. But the good thing with health and fitness is there are a lot of products and courses. You can even make your own course, or you can be an affiliate for somebody else's course and promote those. And the conversions are usually pretty good. So, and also amazing print book sales. So ebooks, yes, you can definitely make some money on ebooks, but the print books is usually the biggest money maker when it comes to health and fitness. And also ACX is pretty decent as well, depending on the topic. So the cons for this is that it's extremely competitive, right? Health and fitness, one of the biggest niches. Again, you can't just go into general health and fitness niches. You have to really niche down into the smallest niche, very, very specific niche. And I'm talking about like, don't just do keto diet, but you want to do keto diet for people, for keto diet for women specifically over 50 for beginners or something like that. So let me rephrase that. Keto diet for beginners for women over 50. So that is how specific you want to be. And that's just an example, although that is actually a pretty decent keyword if you go and check it out. Next one is that some topics are hard to translate to audio, Like, say, if you have a book on 101 body weight exercises with illustrations, any books that takes illustrations, it's very hard to translate that into audio. So you might be missing out on that uh, income avenue. And also, it's very expensive to run ads. This is just due to competition. If everybody else is running ads, your ad cost is also going to increase. So the next one is cookbooks. It's very similar to health and fitness. Again, huge niche. It's seasonal and evergreen topics, right? And big Q4 sales and amazing print book sales. So very similar to health and fitness. Cons is that it is insanely competitive, maybe even more competitive. Most of the books that are ranking on top are from actual huge publishers or huge publishing companies, and very few self-publishers has the space to compete in niches like this. And also, you get very low audio sales because how can you translate cookbooks to audio, right? You're literally just reading recipes. And I know some people like that, but generally you will see lower sales in audio. Super expensive to run ads. And also, customers expect colored images, which are hard and expensive to make. So this is another thing that I find that nobody else really is talking about, is that depending on the niches, there's different expectations in terms of quality that people are looking for. When people buy cookbooks, they expect colored images of the books, right? When people buy children's books, their expectations for quality is a lot lower. When people buy joke books, for example, like 100 dad jokes, their expectations for quality is pretty low. They're just looking for like some cheesy jokes and that's it. So that's super easy to make. But when it comes to cookbooks, people expect high quality images like that. So that's something you want to kind of consider when you're making your book and choosing a niche. So business and money and finance, the pros, again, it's a big niche, one of the biggest niches out there. Also, a lot of people are looking for this kind of topic. Incredible potential for selling products and courses as an upsell. So again, just like health and fitness, there's a lot of products, a lot of courses that you can sell. And also people in this niche is looking to buy. And also, if you think about it, business-minded people aren't afraid to spend money. So if you're trying to sell some kind of courses or products in the back end, this is an amazing niche to do so. And I personally know someone in the finance niche that is absolutely killing it selling the course that he made on his own. So you also get great ebook, print, audio. So in 3 different formats, you can kill it. Print is one of the bigger ones. Audio is also really, really good as well. So the cons for this is that some topics goes outdated quick. Like, for example, if you have a book on social media marketing for 2019, social media marketing changes constantly. So the book that you published in 2019 or even 2020 is already outdated when a new social media platform comes out. So what are you going to do? You know, people usually tend to look for newer books in this niche anyway. So your book could stop selling pretty quickly. Same as investing, just like if you have a book on cryptocurrency, for example, right? People would not buy a cryptocurrency book from 2 years ago because the changes are so frequent. Another con is competitive. And again, the expectation of quality is very high. So you need to make sure you're hiring a top-notch ghostwriter that is that has personal experience and not just rewriting what they find online. So if you want a ghostwriting company that I recommend, check out the videos that I shot on the top 3 best ghostwriting companies that you can use right now. So the next one is self-help. And the pro is, again, huge niche, as we all know. Evergreen topic. So what I like about self-help is that it's generally evergreen, meaning the topic is pretty much how it's going to be for the rest of our lifetime. It's not a trendy topic. And also the Q4 and also New Year's sales are huge, which I didn't include here in the slides. But you also get good ebook, print, audio sales. The cons for this is that some niches, hard to find products or courses to upsell. And this is something that I've tried, but I just couldn't make it work. You know, a lot of people who read self-help books, they're not really open to spending money in self-help products. So you can pitch business products to people in self-help because it's kind of a related thing and they're most likely open to it, but it's not the most targeted the targeted audience to pitch business products. And if you try to pitch like a mindset course or productivity course, First of all, those courses, you can't really sell them an expensive course because it's not something that people expect to pay a lot of money for. Usually it's like lower ticket items. And also the conversions isn't that high, at least from my experience. And also it's competitive. So everyone chooses self-help as their first niche. When people go into self-publishing, they think, what niche should I go into? They all think about self-help first, right? Or something like passive incomes, super obvious one first. But again, just like any other niche, you want to break it down into very specific keywords as much as possible. So next one is spirituality. So this is a very interesting one. Pros is that you can get away with pretty vague information. And I'm not talking crap about people who read spirituality book. It's just what I noticed is that the readers are much more positive. And this is kind of the same with self-help, but spirituality, they kind of have this more, where the readers are more positive and they tend to leave positive reviews more. And also the information that you put, again, you can kind of get away with vague information because a lot of spirituality topics, there are no right or wrong. Like when we talk about stocks, whenever you include data, that is either right or wrong. When it comes to spirituality, there isn't a right or wrong because a lot of times it's up to your interpretation, and it's personal experience as well. So people kind of interpret information that you share for themselves, and they tend to just find an answer that they want, and they become happy with it, and they leave a good review. So, that's a very good thing about spirituality, is that it's much harder to get negative reviews. There are also some back-end products that you can promote, which is pretty good. And the cons is, what I would say, the con for this is that I noticed a slower print book sales with spirituality. And I've seen people crushing it with print book sales for the spirituality niche as well. So this could just be my experience, but at least it is my experience. Now let's get into something like hobby niches, right? So this is gardening, programming, instruments like guitar, piano, knitting. And of course, there's much, much more than this, but these are just an example. The pros for this is it's much more smaller than the broad general niches that I talked about just now. Therefore, it's less competitive. And why is it much smaller? Well, it's more specific, right? Not just saying self-help, but it's, self-help, gardening, instruments, technically self-help, in a way, right? But it's much more targeted. And when you get targeted like this, and when you niche down, you can find a much more of a passionate reader base. So you can build a fan base quickly, and then their engagement, like when you send them an email, they're much more likely to read and much more likely to buy because they're more engaged in, and they're more into what you're trying to do. If you're just writing generic self-help or business or something like that, the engagement wouldn't be as high as if you would do niches like this. So another thing is that you can price books higher due to less competition. And again, you can price books higher not just because of less competition, but also because it is targeted, right? If there's not a lot of books on gardening or programming, or if you have a very specific book on those topics, you can usually command a higher price. You also have good upsell potential with products and courses. You can also make your own course, or you can also sell other people's products and courses. And again, if the engagements are higher, people tend to be more responsive and to buy. So there's good potential there. The cons would be that it is a bit harder to make due to some topics requiring images, just like cookbooks as an example. When you have a book on how to play a guitar and it's straight up just text, then it wouldn't make sense. You would need images to show them which chords to play and whatnot, and how to place your fingers, on where, right? So those images, you either have to take it yourself, make it, or somehow find it online, which might be a little tricky. So that is why it's more technical, and it is harder to find a writer that can handle this. Or if you're writing yourself, it's just a little bit more tricky to make. However, it is super worth it if you can make books like these. And again, for all the reasons that I mentioned. And this is sometimes harder to translate to audiobooks. Again, if there's a lot of illustrations, it's very hard to translate to audiobooks. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about children's books. So children's books, amazing quarter four earnings, a lot of people have doubled, tripled, quadrupled their earning from all the other months just in quarter 4. So their sales definitely increased. And that is because a lot of parents buy children's books like mazes, activities books, joke books, riddles, those kind of things as a gift to their kids or friends and family. They're also cheaper to make generally because the expectations for children's books isn't as high as a full-length nonfiction books that we talked about. So a lot of times you can just do like a book that are 30 pages if it's like an activity book, 50 page, 100 pages if it's a joke book. 100 pages for a joke book could even be a little long, right? So you don't have to put in a lot of content. However, you do have to get those illustrations in, so you do have to pay a bit, but usually it's, cheaper to make. The cons for this is that most books are expected to be priced lower. Again, this is just general expectations of people that people have towards children's books, right? They expect it to not be priced at $12.99. They expect it to be priced at $6.99, $7.99, those kind of things. So if the expectation and all your competitions are pricing it lower, then you will have smaller margin, and smaller margin means you smaller margin to play with on AMS ads. So you just have to be good at running ads. And also it is a little hard to translate to audio, of course, and it makes sense because if you have a book on mazes, then there's no way you can translate it. If you have a book on riddles, maybe you can translate it, although from my experience, it doesn't really sell too good. So those are the things that you have to keep in mind. And some niches, you can't even have an ebook version because, again, if it's a maze book, then you need to have it printed. So KDP wouldn't even allow you to have an ebook version. So essentially, a lot of the topics that you can publish in children's books, a lot of the keywords, you're only making money from one source, which is the paperback version. So now you might be wondering, what niche should you go into? I can't really tell you this directly because, again, every single niche has a potential to make a lot of money. I know multiple people in every single niche that we talked about who's making 10K, 20K, 30K, even $1 million a year in all of the niches that we just talked about. So it is possible in any niche. What you want to do is go into a niche that has demand, meaning people are looking for these topics, which is pretty much every single niche that we just talked about, plus something that is your passion. Because for me personally, I'm somewhat passionate about all of that except for maybe spirituality. And if I'm going into spirituality, it's just going to be very boring for me because it's not something that I'm very passionate about, and I do not really want to like learn about it, So it's a combination of demand plus your passion, and that's the niche that you should go into. Generally speaking, though, the more technical and the more targeted niche, like the hobby niche I talked about, is much easier to build a brand, build raving fans, and stand out. So again, from what I've seen over the 5 years, the most success people had usually came from people coming into or people going into these hobby niches. And that's just because that they can be much more targeted in terms of audience, and then they go and build a brand where they're selling a bunch of products, not just books. Books is how they start, but then they go and build a website, and then they sell other products, courses, etc., through their website. Now, this is some advanced stuff, and it really depends on the niche because not all niches you can do that. But these hobby niches, especially, is something that is very capable of doing that, and you can really, really make a lot of money. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick summary of each niche. If you want to learn how to research profitable niche and keywords, and also how to publish a best-selling book in it, I do have a step-by-step free publishing course you can check out in the link, along with all of my tools and resources that I recommend. It's all in the video description below. If you enjoy these kind of videos, please make sure to leave a like. Comment if you have any questions, because every single comment, like any engagement, helps with the YouTube algorithm so more people can discover my videos. And again, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you haven't done that. And I'll see you guys on the next video.